Okay guys, let's talk about this structure of our web pages, right? The structure of our websites, specifically a web page, a single page. Usually each web page is structured uh, in such a way that you have at the top there your header section, the main section, and then uh, at the bottom you have your footer, right? Your footer section, right? So what I'm going to do this, we use a tag called a div. So I'm going to create a new file here called divs.html, right? Let's call it divs.html. Once more, we're going to have the doc type HTML. We're going to have the HTML tag there. We're going to have our head like so. Inside our head, our title like that, and let's say here page structure like that, right? Underneath our head we're going to have our body, so there. uh, so now I'm going to put a comment here saying the header section, right? Let's create the header section of the page, right? Okay, so to create the header section I'm going to sort of like divide it, right? So we're going to have a div tag like that, and let's give it an attribute, an ID attribute, right, of header. uh, Now inside this div we're going to have, let's say, maybe our logo. I'm going to use an h1. This could be your company logo, right? You can use an h1 for your logo, or you can use an image, which I will show you how to add an image to your web pages. You can use an image as a logo, right? So underneath this h1 you're gonna have some kind of navigation, right, for your web pages, for your users to be to be able to navigate easily on your site. So lucky for us, we already have something like that. So we're going to copy this URL here, Control C. Let's go back to divs, let's add this, and oh yes, I've added this already. Page structure, this links to this page and they all have it already, right? So what you need to do is simply, let me show you what you need to do. You just, let me remove that. What you do, you copy one of these list items, copy one below like that, change this from forms to divs.html, and then here you can put page structure, right? Can put page structure like so, right? Now we have a link, some kind of navigation there. This is our header section, right? So underneath there, let's go on and create a main section of the page. Main section of the page, right? The main section of the page, again we're going to use a div, right, to create this main section of the page. We're going to use a div for this. So I'm gonna go on and say div. Let's give it an ID of main dash section, right? Main section like that, and there's our closing tag. Inside, again, also the div is an example of a block level element, right? Meaning when you have this header section on top here, this will automatically go below it, right? So inside our main section, let's say we had a welcoming um, heading. So let's use an h2 this time. It says welcome to my site, like so. Let's add a paragraph, right? And then let's say Lauren, let's say 45. Good. Now in our main section, let's also let me show you how to add an image. But first, before we add an image, we need to download an image and save it inside this folder, right? So what we'll do, we'll go to Chrome. Let's say office building, like so. Let's go to images. Let's take this one here. Save image as. Let's head over to the folder where we saved it. Let me see something. Okay, I can do that. I'm trying to navigate to the folder where our project is, right? Okay, so what I'll do is this. Logo. HTML. Where is it? Lessons. Video lessons. First lesson. Okay, what I'll do is I'll navigate to the folder where where we have our project, right? I'll navigate to that folder. I forgot where our project is, so let me find it quickly here. Where is it now? Lessons. There we go. First lesson. Alright, I found it. So you're going to do the same. You're going to navigate to the folder where you created your project, right? The folder we created in the first lesson, right? So that's where you're going to be working from. So anyway, if the name is too long, you can change the name of the image here to a shorter image. You can change it to like a building. It's going to help us later when we're trying to link to this photo. So click on save there, and the image will be downloaded to. Okay, let's go back. Where is it? Alright, back here, as you can see, we now have an image here saved, right? So that's what you need to do. Download the image and save it in the same folder that we created in the first lesson there. Anyway, now let's add this image here. Let's say this is an image of our building, so let's show you how to add an image. Image tag is another self-closing tag, like your inputs, right? It's a self-closing tag, so it also has an attribute called source. The source attribute, what it does is it tells the browser where to find the image, right? Now we will talk about in a later video. We will talk about building. We will talk about the structure of your project, right? How source works, how it finds, how source and the href really work, how are they able to navigate and find, in this case, find the image that we are looking for, right? So like I said, this is a self-closing tag, right? So let's save this and have a look at the browser. Just refresh this, and there's the image there, right? There's the paragraph, there's our header section. What did I do? Okay, is this still recording? Okay, it's still recording. Good. So that's how you add an image. So we've divided our website into some kind of sections. This is our header, this is our main section. Now we need a footer. For a footer, again, I'm going to create a div. I'm going to create a div with an with an ID of footer, like so. Inside I'm going to have a paragraph with the name of the company, Advanced Success and training. And then let's put the copy sign, copy sign, and then the year 2021. I'll show you what this is. In fact, you'll see what this is once I save here. So let's save that, and you'll see, and copy, it's this symbol here, the copyright symbol, right? So that's your footer here. Obviously now you can't see it clearly, but using CSS we're going to style this thing such that it looks nice and clean, right? Nice and clean. So back to the code. Again, a div, we use it to divide our page, our website, right, our web pages into different sections, so that we can make it look clean, right? Of course, at the minute it doesn't look that clean and nice, but we're going to use CSS to style our web pages, right? So that's what we use a div for. Now these IDs here, we're going to use these mostly on our CSS, right? We're going to use these mostly on our CSS to sort of target these divs. By the way, an ID can be added to any element. I can add an ID to my list item, I can add an ID to my hyperlinks. It can be added to any element, right? I can also add it to the image, wherever I want it. But we use these IDs to quickly select or identify, or rather pick this particular div here. We use this ID in our CSS to sort of like select this div here, but don't worry, it will make sense once we get to CSS. For now I just wanted to show you that we can use divs to create sections on our web pages, right? So yeah, that's it for now. In the next lesson we're going to talk about the newer HTML5 semantic tags that sort of like replace divs, but we're going to talk about that in the next lesson.